Hi. So today we're going to talk about common sense and other such misnomers, oxymorons. Common sense is so uncommon that it's deemed as super intelligent. Idiocracy is very prophetic, and it wasn't supposed to happen for 500 more years, and yet here we are. Okay, so when you're driving, you know that little stick on your side, the left side of your steering wheel? Flip that up or down. It's called a blinker. Okay? I know, crazy, right? But if used properly, hair in my mouth, it indicates if you're going to turn right or left. Now, if your blinker doesn't work, you can stick your arm out the window. Okay, straight means that you're going to turn right, and up, and you can't see my arms when I do this, and up means left. Now you know this because you're like pointing left, like, hey, over the car. Like when I used to have a paper route, it was in grad school actually, not as a 12-year-old, and you throw the paper over the car. Yeah, that's left. I know, that's really helpful to all of you. But really, okay, so that's one little common sense thing. Another one is really, okay, I could go on for hours about driving, and I don't even do it anymore. And people are always getting after, like, the Utah drivers. I don't think so. It's everywhere. Now, I'll admit, Utah drivers are more inconsiderate than Kansas drivers. Okay, fine. But way more considerate than California drivers. So it's not Utah drivers, okay? It's drivers. Every state has their own little weird thing that they do that or don't do that all drivers, whatever. In Kansas, though, you had to drive by the Westboro Baptist Church. Yeah, that was fun. And I'm like, seriously, do these people not have lives? No, they really don't. Okay, so another thing about common sense is when you're polite to someone, you're just being polite, you're saying hi, they often misinterpret it as flirting. And you're like, no, I'm really not. Like, no means maybe, and maybe means yes. So yes, no means yes. No just means try harder. No means no, okay? Like, they shouldn't have to teach women and girls modesty and don't show off your shoulders so much as teaching boys and men consent. But that's another common sense thing that's not so common. But really, how is it that people don't get common sense? We had a hypo in law school where somebody put spikes on the road and the van was late or whatever, right? Like, basically, because somebody didn't do their job properly, they ended up being on time because someone else had spiked the road. And the person who did their job properly and started on time got caught in the spikes, and which one is the legal one? And so many of my colleagues wanted to go with the one who didn't do the job properly. And I'm like, no, that's setting a precedent to not do the job properly. And we don't know the future. Just because they got there on time because they avoided the spikes doesn't mean we can set a precedent to not do the job properly. This is the law. There's no such thing as a law in a vacuum. These are law students, and they didn't understand that no one can see the future. Just because it happened that the one who didn't do the job properly got there on time, that's awesome, but you have to do the job properly. No one can see the future. No one. So, common sense is not very common.